So that was the content what we have discussed in our previous class. So we have taken an example. First example we have taken up with 3 instances. Second example we have taken up with 4 instances. Then we solved the problem, and we have taken up the multiple instances algorithm, where we taken up this availability is equals to availability minus request, allocation is equals to some allocation plus request, and need is equals to some need minus request. So this is the part what we are going to discuss yesterday. So now in today's class we will be continuing how to iterate the 3 steps. Okay, so in our last class we have taken up how a need vector is going to compute, that is need minus need is equals to some maximum minus allocation. Then we have taken up the second step, that is while need is less than or equal to work, then we have iterated 4 or 5 times the second and third step, that is need is less than or equals to work. If this condition is going to be true, then we made that work is equals to some work plus allocation. And finally we have stopped the algorithm as it reached the safe state, that is when a boolean variable is going to show it as a true. So after the resource allocation request algorithm is going to taken up. So now let us assume how this resource allocation is going to work it out with the 3 steps. Okay, so now you can see a scenario. You can see a scenario, that is availability is equals to some availability minus request, allocation is equals to some allocation plus request, need is equals to some need minus request. So this is the matrix what we are going to have, and we have already derived a safe sequence. We have already got a safe sequence, the order in which the content has been done, and we have instances as 3, 3, 2, which is available. So A is equals to some 2 plus 3 plus 2 plus 3, we got A is equals to 10. Then B we have taken it as 3 plus 1 plus 1. So total we have taken up with 5 instances, and C we have derived it as 2, 2 plus 2 plus 1 plus 2. So total we have derived it as 7 instances. So this was the resources. So resources which are going to be allotted to this situation. Now what was the question here? So assume that P1 is going to raise a request, P1 is going to raise a request, and it is going to ask for 102. So P1 now is going to ask for with a request, and what was the request? It is going to raise a request after it has reached the safe state, safe sequence. Now it is going to raise a request, and that request was, it is asking 102. Now can we allot the request? Yes or no is the scenario. So now what was the condition with us? What was the condition which is available with us was, we have the condition was the total number of available was 230. Okay, the total number of available was 230, 230, that is 2 instances of A, 3 instances of B, and C is of 0 instances, and whether 102, the process P1 request, whether it is going to be less than or equals to 2, 3 and 0. So if it is going to be a scenario, now let us work it out with this example. So available is equals to some available minus request. So first we are going to have available is equals to some available minus request. So what is available here? Available was 3, 3, 2. And what is the request here? Request was, the request was 1, 0 and 2. The request was 1, 0 and 2. So now we are going to have the value of 2, 3 and 0. This was the new thing what we have to understand. So earlier 332, now it is going to migrate it to 230. Got it? So available is equals to some available minus request. So that is the first scenario what we are going to propose. That is the first scenario what we are going to propose. So we have checked 102, which is less than 332. Now we are going to allocate it as 230. Next, allocation is equals to sum allocation plus request. Allocation is equals to sum allocation plus request. What is allocation for P1? What is the allocation for P1? Allocation for P1 was 230. Now what is the present request? The present request was 102. Now what is the value we are going to get? We are going to get it as 3. We are going to get the allocation was 200, right? The allocation was 200. So now we are going to get the value as 302. We are going to get this value as 30 and 2. We got this value. Next, what we have to compute? We have to compute need is equals to, we have to compute need is equals to sum need minus P1's need. P1's need was 7, 4 and 3. What is P1's request? P1's request was 102. So what is the new need we are going to assume? That we are going to assume it as we have this 7, 4, 3 and need was P1 need was 122. Excuse me, P1 need was some 122. So this is not 743 here. So we are going to take this as 1, 2 and 2. So 1, 2 and 2, we are going to get this value as 0, 2 and 0. We are going to get this value as 0, 2 and 0. So that is how we are going to move this value to 0, 2, 0. So there we have 3 requests. One is available, another was available minus request, and that is allocation is equals to allocation plus request. Need is equals to sum need minus request. So now what was the conclusion was new request is processed. The conclusion was new request was attended. Now what we have to do? Reiterate the safety algorithm again and derive safe sequence so that deadlock will not occur. So that deadlock will not occur. So this was the scenario what this algorithm is going to propose. So the previous states we have taken 332, 200, 122, and now we had an additional request of 102. After getting an additional request of 102, we have iterated the 3 steps. Available is equals to available minus request, allocation is equals to some allocation plus request, need is equals to some need minus request we have allocated. Then we derived the new values, that is one we derived it as 302, another we derived it as 020, another we derived it as 230. So after this scenario is going to be taken up, now we have to look into the second state of the algorithm. After completing this algorithm, we have to look into the second state of the algorithm, and that second state of an algorithm will work with one. We are going to say it is a deadlock detection and recovery. So the next 2 stages where this deadlock detection and recovery is going to work along with 2 instances. One we are going to call it as single instances, another we are going to call it as multiple instances, and they are going to be represented with weight for graph. They are going to be represented with weight for graph, and we are going to have the time complexity. The time complexity was order of n square. So that is how the derivation is going to be taken up. So now first one, we are going to have resource reallocation graph, and it is going to be converted to the weight for graph. So we do have the second part of the Banker's algorithm, that it is going to rise up the resource allocation graph, and from resource allocation graph we are going to bring up the wait for graph. So as mentioned, we are going to say resources are going to be represented with a rectangle, and processes, they are going to be represented using circles. This is what the representation was. And then if we are going to put it in a dotted edge, then we are going to call it as claim edge. We are going to call it as claim edge. And if it is going to be dark, then it is going to be one from resource to process. It can be one from resource to process, and second it can be some process to resource. One, it is can be from resource to process, or it can be from process to resource. So this one we are going to call it as requesting edge. We are going to call it as requesting edge. And process to resource to process, we are going to call it as allocation edge. We do call this one as some allocation edge. And the second one we are going to call here as a So resource to process, we are going to call it as some allocation edge, and then we are going to have some process to resource, we are going to call it as requesting edge. So this is the foundation before we are going to drop the things. So a graph, it is going to have some set of edges, and it is going to have some set of vertices. So graph, it is going to have some set of edges, and it is going to have some set of vertices. So either a claim edge, nor a request edge, nor a resource edge, whatever edges are going to be there, they are going to be drawn with this line, and vertices, they are going to be represented with circle, and they are going to represent the process to Pn. So this is another foundation before we are going to analyze the graphical diagram. Got it? So in deadlocks, we should have the basic two things. One, the representation of a resource allocation will be taken up with graph. Second concept, while doing this graph, we are going to call it as edges, and we are going to have vertex. Edges, they are going to be representing the movement, either a claim edge, either a resource edge, either a requesting edge, that it is going to be representing. Then the processes are going to be represented as vertices. So this is the first foundation. So claim edge, it is going to be represented in dotted model, either resource to process or process to resource, either it is an allocation edge, either it is a requesting edge, whatever it is going to be represented using a dark. Now let us analyze this graph here. So now you can see a movement from P2 is going to ask for our resource R3, and resource R3 is going to move for P5. So that is how we are going to concatenate the things here. So one, we can say some P2 to P5, it is going to be written directly. We are not going to represent resource, as we are going to say it is wait for graph. So what is wait for graph here means, so process P2 is going to, it is going to hold resource R5, and it is going to wait for a resource which is going to be in the hand. Okay, so already P2 is there, and P2 it is going to hold. P2 is going to hold, I can say here. So P2 holds R5 resource, and it is going to wait for R3 hold by P5. So this is the scenario what we are going to focus it up. So P2 is going to hold R5, P2 is going to hold R5, and it is going to wait for R3, and R3 is going to be hold up with P5. That is the first scenario. Okay, now let us look into this. P4. So P4, it is going to ask. P4, it is going to wait. It is going to wait for R2, and it is holding P2, P4. So P4 is waiting for R2, and P4 is holding R5. So now what we can draw? We can draw right from P4. We can draw from right from P4 to a relation which is going to be with P1. Okay, now let us discuss about P3. What about P3? P3 it is going to hold R4. P3 is holding R4 which is with P2, and P3 is going to wait for R5, and where R5 is with P2. Now again there is one more cycle here. So now you can assume how the cycles are going to be formed. Okay, so now you can see from P2 it is going to put a raise request to P3, and P3 to P4, P3 to. So in this way, the scenario is going to move, which are going to be the process, which are going to be interdependent one after the other. So we have talked about a wait for graph, and now you can see this the banker's algorithm. It is going to have the data structures. One we are going to call it as available, another we are going to have allocation, third one we are going to call it as a request, and we talked about assigning the available value to the work. We call it as deadlock detection algorithm via banker's algorithm. Then we have assigned total number of instances are going to be 5. Then until 5 instances are going to be, until 5 processes are going to be executed, false is going to be put it as finish, and if all the 5 has been done, we are going to say false finish is equals to true. If finish is still in a false mode, then there may be a chances for deadlock. If still finish is going to be in a false state, then we are going to predict that the deadlock is going to happen. This is the first novelty what we should understand. So we have taken a Boolean value. So if finish is equals to false, then we can say then the system is in deadlock. The system is in deadlock. If finish is equals to true, if finish is equals to true, a Boolean value, then we can say there is a no deadlock. Then they can say there is no deadlock. So at this stage, the second part of an algorithm, it is going to take the total number of resources, the total of number of processes. So now the time complexity has been increased right from number of resources with the number of processes whole square, where it is going to detect the whether there is a deadlock or not. Okay, fine. Now this is the third example. Okay, we talked about 3 instances algorithm, that we take up 10 instances of A, 5 instances of B, 7 instances of C. Yesterday we have taken up with 4 instances, A, B, C, D, and then we gave some 8, 10, 10, 14. So in this way we have taken up 4 instances. Now let us look into a new example, where this example it is going to create a deadlock. Either the first example, either the second example, it is going to generate a safe sequence. But now let us look into this algorithm, where this algorithm is going to give the other side of a coin, that is whether if a deadlock will occur or not. So deadlock is occurred. So when a situation, a deadlock is going to occur. So now you can see here, A is going to have some 7 instances, B is equals to have some 2 instances, C is going to having some 6 instances. So how I am going to get the 7? How I am going to get? So I can say 2 plus 3 plus 2. So we are going to get it 7. How I am going to get B instances as 1 and 1. 2 instances of B here. How is C is getting 6 instances? This is 3, this is 1, and this is 2 here. Okay, so now you can assume it as 2 plus 3 plus 1. Total it is going to get some 6 instances. So A is going to have 7 instances, B is going to have 7 instances, C is going to have some 6 instances. So now you can see the value was 0. That is 7 minus 7, 2 minus 2, 6 minus 2. So now the situation was 0, 0, 0. Therefore, availability, the value of availability was 0. Now assume that already a safe sequence is going to be taken up. Already the safe sequence is going to be taken up. That is, first it does P0, next is just P2, next is just P3, P1, P4. So now everything is fine. Now you are going to say finish is equals to true. Now I can say no deadlock. Okay, so up to this slide, everything was happy. Up to this slide, everything was happy. So at this situation, whatever resources are going to be with the operating system, it has given to its process P0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and now there is no burden on the operating system, and operating system is empty, and it has taken up a safe sequence P0, P2, P3, P1, P4. So everything is fine. Now let us look into the next slide. Now let us look into the next slide. So what is the next slide? Now P2 is going to raise a request. P2 is going to raise a request, and what it is going to raise? It is going to ask, I need A 0 instances, I need B 0 instances, I need C for 1 instance. Now this is the new request which was raised by the P2. Now what is availability here? So now what is availability here? So you can see the availability condition, the availability condition was, so availability was 0, 0, 0, A, B, and C, and now the request was 0, 0, 1. So what is the formula here? Available is equals to some available minus request, and request it is going to be 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1. So obviously it leading to -1. Now there is no sufficient resources available, no sufficient resources available, and it leads to deadlock, and it is going to lead to deadlock. Got it? So the previous scenario, at this case, it has already given P0, P2, P3, P4, P1, P4, and the availability was 0, 0, 0. So now the operating system, it has assigned all the resources to all the process, and it is empty handed. Now all of a sudden P2 is coming, and it is going to ask, okay, can you give me 1 resources of C2? Can you give me 1 resources of C2? Now operating system, it has distributed all the resources, and it is with empty hands. That is, A is 0, B is 0, and C is 0. It is not having any request. All of a sudden request came, and request is asking, can you give me C as 1 instance? Now there is no sufficient resources available with the operating system altogether. Now it cannot raise it cannot say it is going to be from unsafe state, and from unsafe state it is going to lead to a deadlock state. Unsafe state, it is going to lead to a deadlock state. So earlier it was in safe sequence, and safe sequence it moved to unsafe sequence. Unsafe sequence it moved to some deadlock state. So here I can say deadlock is going to be existing. Deadlock is going to be existing because it cannot reclaim the things, reclaim the resources until the other process are going to be given. So, okay, so we talked about the Banker's algorithm. There we talked about resource request graph, and we have taken up 2 examples which a sequence is going to taken up, and we have already discussed on one more example. In this one more example, we were telling how a deadlock is going to occur. So once remember, if a request has come, request if it is going to be honored, then again the entire safety algorithm and the resource allocation graph has to be iterated. But if the request is not going to be honored, that means if the request is not going to be processed, ultimately it is going to lead to deadlock state. Okay, so now what are the remedies if a deadlock is going to occur? So what are the remedies if the deadlock is going to be occurred? So one, we are going to say recovery from deadlock. So recovery from deadlock, terminate the process, how to say if a deadlock is occurred. So now the ultimate solution was process termination. Process termination. So I can say abort all the deadlock process, abort all the deadlock process. So I am going to have a task manager in Windows operating system. I am going to have a task manager. Then I can say control Alt and del. and then I can go to task manager and I can select the process, and then I can kill the process, or I can terminate the process, or I can suspend the process. So this is what the chain, if a deadlock is going to occur. So all of a sudden mobile phone was not working. What was the best condition? You are going to restart or reboot the mobile phone. Similarly, all of a sudden the computer or laptop has hang up. What is the solution? I'll say just restart the computer, restart the mobile phone. So what is the hang up situation? That hang up situation is nothing but a deadlock. What is the remedy? Just restart the mobile phone, restart the laptop. The simple solution. That is nothing but we are going to call it as aborting. But that is simple. But what about the software engineers? So we are all software engineers. So you may be a software engineer. To develop a program, you should not go for hardware dependent. Okay, everything you have to solve it using the software program. So what you can do is you are going to build up a deadlock algorithm called as Banker's algorithm. Then in that Banker's algorithm, you are going to manage the resources. So at any moment of time, people should not think of an idea to restart a computer. People should not get an idea to reboot the mobile phone. Everything should be processed with the software itself. So that is what the solution it has to be there. But if in case if the software was unable to provide a solution for a deadlock, okay, there is only one option, that is restart the mobile phone or restart the laptop. So we are going to say about the process. Okay, then second solution is also there. Which process is going to create a is creating a hang up situation? Which process is going to create a deadlock? Only you select that process and then you can abort only one process at a time. So instead of aborting all the process at a time, okay, you identify a process, then you start deleting one by one process, so that the deadlock cycle can be eliminated. That is the second solution what these people are going to be proposing. So, so in which order we should choose an abort? So one, directly you restart the computer. Two, you take up one by one process and you create a chain here. So now let us see a live example. So you can look into my laptop. I'm going to press hit Control Alt Del. Okay, I'm hitting Control Alt Del. Now you can see locked switch user, sign out and task manager. Okay, now I'm going to move into the word called as task manager. So once the task manager is going to come into picture, hope you can see my screen, right? So there are n number of processes, Microsoft Teams, Adobe, PowerPoint, some other process, K7 and some local Telegram, snippet tool, some task manager, so some audio drivers. So a lot of programs are going to be run behind, which are going to be a background process. So we don't know from which process the program is going to happen. So we can look into this performance also, right? So CPU cycles, we were telling the resources. What are resources? Resources are nothing but CPU cycles. So CPU cycles, it is going to work with 1.67 gigahertz. So the total number of cycles CPU can have will be 1.67, and this 1.67 it has to distribute to all the processes. Now you can see all the processes, they have taken some 46% and 72% of the memory was consumed. So that is the performance, and similarly some app history and etc. So these are the different ways you should understand. Okay, now what I can do is I can just say I'm going to use this snippet. So snipping tool is there. Now assume due to this snipping tool, some deadlock is going to occur. What I can do? So I'm going to check this snipping tool. Where was this snipping tool? Here. So I'm going to check up this snipping tool. Okay, I found this. Okay, now I thought that due to this deadlock is going to occur. So I can just say I can pop up and I can remove this snipping tool here. And I can end the task. You can see here end task. So I can end the task of the snipping tool. So now you can see here, do you want to say the snippet? I can say no. So now this is the justification what I am expecting to understand here. So when a deadlock is going to occur, the only solution was, okay, about all the processes which are going to create a deadlock, you restart the mobile, you restart the laptop. That is the general solution. But another solution is you should identify the cycle where the deadlock is going to occur. So about one process with another process until the deadlock cycle is going to be eliminated. So I just given you example, right? I have hit Control plus Alt plus Del, Alt plus Del on my laptop. Then I have selected the task manager. In that task manager, I have selected the process, and then I have identified the victim. And after identifying the victim, I have just made an end task. So obviously, I have seen that it is going to see that end the deadlock chain. So deadlock process end, or I can say kill the deadlock process to break the chain, to break the chain. So that is how the solution what we are going to propose. Okay, the order in which how aborting can be taken up, one we can say put some priorities and then see that the process is going to be eliminated one after the other. So in this way we are going to work with the different process termination. So what I will do is can just have this participant list. So yeah, I'm stopping my presentation here.